Cities they are wasting. The rain falling from the sky. Dust is creeping. Swallowing all in sight. People are weeping.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm told that I'm really amazing. I don't know if that's true.
It's true. I'll say it's true. Welcome everybody to Pop Culture SquadCast Live. I'm Bob Harrison. My co-host here is Mike Gold. We have a jam-packed show for you tonight. It's Tuesday, so we're here, and that's what happens on Tuesday nights. Mike, how's everything? You guys making it through the? Have you thawed out up there yet at all, or is it still just one giant iceberg?
I consider it to be okay.
Okay.
It was like 31 degrees.
Well, today, yeah, it was nice. Our alley is almost empty from snow. One of our guests tonight has left the cold of the Northeast for the warmth of San Francisco or warmth of California, and probably doesn't remember how cold it is over here. We'll get to that later.
I'll bet you he does.
That's probably true too. We got a couple things we want to talk about, and then we're going to bring in a guest. We're going to do. Everybody, stay with us. We're going to run through a couple of quick hit notes, and then we're going to bring in our special Star Trek correspondent. We're going to talk about Starfleet Academy. So if you know anybody who wants to hear about it, send them a link. We're live right now. We're going to talk about Starfleet Academy in just a few minutes. And after that, we have Duane Swierczynski online, and we're going to talk about his new upcoming book, and we're going to talk about some of his older books, and we're going to talk about, I don't know, other stuff. Quick hits. This is a big week for comic books. I think we finally hit February, and I think comics for the year on a weekly basis are finally emerging from their slumber, just like the groundhog.
We don't know what the groundhog does for 364 days out of the year.
I don't care. I just care what he does today.
I think what he's most concerned about is just being left the hell alone.
Yeah.
He needs an agent.
I'm sure he's got a few. First thing I wanted to talk about, and I mentioned that there's a bunch of good comics coming out. And they are, I want to just highlight, and I'm not going to show a picture, but Autumn Kingdom returns this week for the second arc. And that book was super slept upon, and I'm glad it's back. Our good friend Zach wrote about it on Comics Beat. It's one of his highlights of the book coming out this week. And Autumn Kingdom, if you haven't read Volume 1, go get it. And I can't wait for Volume 2 to start this week.
By this week, you mean tomorrow?
I mean tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
I mean tomorrow. Go to your comic shop. You don't have to, you can go on Wednesday, but you got to go once a week or every other week. Don't leave your LCS hanging.
Some guys sell out stuff like that, like the first day, and that's it. So if you want something really bad, yeah, I know.
It's not issue 7. It's issue
understand.
1. So they have a few of them.
You think?
Issue 2 is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's get to your you had something you wanted to talk about.
Oh, I just wanted to briefly mention. I had noted today that our friends in Minneapolis at Mystery Science Theater have funded another season, at least 4 episodes. I'm not sure how they're distributing it this time. I suspect on people's mouth fillings and stuff. They brought in all of this money in one day to do 4 episodes of Mystery Science Theater, the Rift Track Experiment, as you can see on the screen. And Michael J. Nelson, who was with the show from the very, very beginning, was head writer for 1,000 years, has come back to host those four with his original bots. So I'm excited because, well, first of all, these guys raised $1 million in a day, and that's always exciting. And secondly, because comics fan Richard Pachter, legendary comics fan and music promoter,
Sure.
turned me on to that show when it first went on Comedy Central 1,000 years ago. And this is when I just started dating the woman I would marry, and who would marry me, which was very convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that this
This is
just
convenient.
fell right into her sense of humor. So,
I'm not, I'm not. We're talking about Linda, right?
yeah.
I one of my great regrets in life is not ever meeting Linda, but I am not surprised that this would have been something she enjoyed.
No, she married me.
Right.
I mean, look at her Vita.
Sure.
And I called that one right. She just thought it was the most wonderful thing ever to appear on television. I qualify that only by saying, well, yeah, Sisterny Kovacs. But I'm excited for these four. I know it's going up later on this year. It's nice to see Michael Nelson come back to the camera. He has been doing it live at these little riff tracks things. So, we always bring stuff back in this field. Pop culture doesn't go away. It gets revived, and sometimes even revived with the original cast. So, this is like Picard season 3.
Okay. So it is the link to that Kickstarter, if you're interested in helping fund it and seeing whatever other rewards there are, is in the comments section of wherever you're watching this. You can go click that if you'd like and help out and find out more. But yeah, you're right. Mystery Science Theater, 4 new episodes coming. That's good news. I want to really quick, we're going to quick touch on a bit of passing because we need to. This past week we lost Catherine O'Hara, and I know that she is from your lineage of people, and she was brilliant in everything she ever did.
She was astonishing, and my reaction to her death was quite similar to that of everybody else I know who knew her, met her, or watched her work, which was we were astonished and appalled. People with that much talent just don't come around every day. And also, she was part of a TV show that was a spin-off from Second City, from the Toronto Second City, that had the most stellar cast in television history, at least North American television history. Each and every one of those people stood out.
Sure.
Each one. And Catherine O'Hara, I don't want to say she stood out more or stood out less, but she had more of a in-your-face career after the TV show. And that was really gratifying. I met her once or twice at some old Second City gatherings in Chicago. Why she was in Chicago, I don't think she knew, but wonderful, marvelous human being. And I am like everybody else, I am just awestruck at what she has given us. If you get a chance to see any of the SCTV reruns, and I know they're out there somewhere because everything is out there somewhere. Check it out, particularly the earlier seasons, and you can see her do like 4 or 5 totally different characters in a half hour, filled with other equally talented people doing 4 or 5 other characters.
Yeah,
wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff.
Terribly sad. we do want to. It's one of the things we do. It's not something I like to do, but I feel it's important to note when we've lost people and remind everybody how amazing the entertainment industry is and what we are given from it and sometimes what we lose from it.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where I take having to write obituaries personally
You should.
because I have to do it all the time.
I agree. I understand. We have a special guest tonight. We have been doing this show for 3 years now. This is our 4th year. And we finally, probably my fault, I'll take the blame, are going to bring in somebody who's been at almost every single episode, watched us, been there, and I want to introduce her, and we're going to have her join the conversation tonight and be part of the SquadCast. Please welcome the lovely, talented, and my wife, Sherry Harrison.
Hey, Sherry.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Hi.
You want to explain why you are Batgirl?
I just love her, I guess. And I think she's great. So
And your book?
I would say it's about halfway full.
So explain the book.
Oh, so I've gone to cons for a long time now, and I see people have sketchbook that they give to artists and stuff. So I was like, I said to Bobby, I'm like, I need to start one, and I want to do Batgirl. And I think it's my 3rd year that I've had this book, and it's just about halfway through the book. And when I give the people the book, I just say, as long as it's Batgirl, I don't care what she looks like, who she is, which one you pick, I don't care, just as long as it's Batgirl. And it's amazing original art that I have. I cherish that.
Name a few of the artists.
Oh my God.
Tom
Zoller, Dean, oh, help me, honey. Amanda. I can't think.
Emma Kubert was on the show recently.
Yeah,
she
Emma.
One
Yep.
on there. Sarah Meyer. It's ridiculous.
Adriana.
Matthew Clark has a piece in there that's amazing.
Yeah.
A bunch of people who've been on the show have been in there.
Yeah. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. I there's just so many of you.
Also, I did not prep you with that question. So
That's okay.
I was totally unfair.
That's okay.
I want to. Well, let's get to the heart of the conversation. And the heart of the conversation tonight is, let's talk about Star Trek. So Sherry, you are a huge Star Trek fan. I think you have learned more recently how much of a Star Trek fan you are.
True.
In the pandemic, you did a rewatch of Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. And so recently we saw that the Starfleet Academy was on, and you've been consuming it, and I wanted to have you on to talk about it. And I know Mike's been watching it. So let's talk about this new show, Starfleet Academy. It takes place, for those who aren't, we'll try to keep it as spoiler free as possible because we want people to watch it. But this takes place after Discovery, after the end of Discovery in the far, far future. Spoilers for Discovery.
Yeah, they call it after the burn. So, yeah, I love this show. I think the cast is brilliant. The young people who are the students are just fantastic. Holly Hunter as the chancellor, she's brilliant. Mike, what do you think?
She is amazing. I know that a lot of the old timers don't like her, and I don't understand why. Because you don't get to be more of an old timer than me. I saw the first episode broadcast on NBC. That was because my girlfriend was interested, but nonetheless, that's why I saw it, and I've seen it ever since. And I tend to really like the various Star Trek shows. I like the Star Trek universe. I am not a slave to Roddenberry's vision, but I personally believe that this show, Starfleet Academy, by focusing on the future and doing it from sort of a Deep Space Nine type of perspective,
Mhm.
yet having the ship there, that's having your cake and eating it too. Those kids that we're seeing in Starfleet Academy, some of them will be starring in future Star Trek TV shows.
Agreed.
You don't have to be a genius to figure that one out. That's
Right.
what they do. That's what they do. The characters that they brought back, Robert Picardo kills me, and he's doing a 20 times better a job on this show because he's given a lot more room.
Yeah.
Tig Notaro, I'd watch her read, a box of Cheerios. I mean, it's just, I'll do anything. She's the most courageous, brilliant, talented person. I mentioned Holly Hunter. I love the fact that she appears to be related to a character who is currently on Strange New Worlds.
Interesting.
And we will see whether that happens. I sure hope so, because I'm a big Carol Kane fan as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And Carol Kane could still be alive in this far future.
Oh yeah, she's ancient. She's ancient as
Yeah.
it is, and she's got plenty of life to live. I mean, Carol Kane's going to be around for a while. We don't want to be talking about anything like that.
No. Oh no.
I'm just saying.
I
We need
saw
more Carol Kane.
I saw her first work as well, Hester Street, and a movie that was set in the Lower East Side at the time when a couple of my ancestors were living there, turn of the last century. And it's a powerful, wonderful movie, and I have been enthralled with her ever since. Now that I've babbled a lot, Sherry should talk a little.
I think so.
Well, I do want to give one spoiler away, which is the bad guy in the first episode. When I saw him, I screamed to Bobby, I'm like, I can't. I said to Bobby, I'm like, that John Adams is the bad guy.
Yes.
So in our house, Paul Giamatti will always and forever be John Adams.
Yes, because that's how I first.
He is a wonderful, powerful actor. Always has been.
And it's that laugh. He had that laugh.
But here he is allowed and encouraged to go over the top.
Yes.
And when some actors have been, you can tell they've been kind of restrained in their performances. Because, I mean, how far over the top can you make John Adams, without losing credibility? Here, no holds barred, man. It is just Paul going nuts, and it's wonderful every moment.
Yeah. And the character who plays Sam, I think she's brilliant. And when I saw her, my first thought was, is she Data? Is she like Data?
Mhm.
But she's like a little kid in her growth, which brings such innocence to the team.
Absolutely.
I will say I'm excited for the next episode, because the next episode is called Sam.
Yes.
And I believe that it is going to focus on that character and give us a little bit more, which it's been a fresh character that's just adorable and and you just exciting and effervescent and
right. Just full of the enthusiasm that we have for Star Trek. She gives to the plot, to the story, and that's a wonderful use of her gifts. The woman who plays number one, and I don't recall her name, But
Gina Jari. I can't pronounce. I'm not sure of her last name.
okay,
But
she's worth the price of admission
I
alone.
agree. Yes.
Alone, and every time she's on the screen, it's like nobody else is there. Also, the wit and humor that comes from her
Yes.
meta Klingon character is astonishing and
Yeah.
beautiful and hilarious and wonderful.
And her relationship with Jaden, because they're of that same species, is I love it because she knows that she has to mentor him, and that dynamic I'm looking forward to it growing, because I think that's going to be
Yes.
very important for both of them. And I think he's brilliant. I think he's a brilliant Klingon, and I'm just so excited about these kids. This is the future of this of Starfleet, and it's just exciting. I'm so excited. I like, as soon as we end, when my time is up, I'm gonna watch the new episode because I'm so excited.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I mean that's how I feel about the show as well. It's everything coming together. I do not understand why some people, including some good friends of mine, don't like it. I don't understand
I
that.
don't either.
But I mean, they're entitled. That's fine. But I've discussed it, and I don't understand it. It's not the real Star Trek.
What does that even mean?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's bullshit. It is more like the real Star Trek than anything since Star Trek,
Right.
as
I mean,
far as I'm concerned.
Captain Picard will always be my favorite captain. I think he's, I don't know. I guess because I didn't really watch the original series until much later. I think now I will appreciate it more. But Captain Picard, there's just something, because there wasn't this love interest that he always had to find.
Right.
I wanted him to find happiness, but that wasn't his priority of
No,
knowing all.
he was the anti-Kirk.
I think that was intentional.
Right.
Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. So yeah, this is a good show. I mean, I do know old time Star Trek fans and writers, people who write the books and stuff for Paramount, who love it. So I don't want to make it sound like all old fogies except me hate the show. Not true. I'm not alone in this world.
No.
I got Sherry, and she's not
That's
even
right.
an old fogey.
Sometimes I feel like it.
Yeah, I'm hip.
Well, I'm glad we talked about it, and
Me too.
we will have you back to talk
Thank
about
you
some
so
more things
much.
as our roving correspondent and on the Pop Culture SquadCast.
Well, when the show wraps for this season,
Yeah,
I know
we'll
the second series has already been plotted. They're going through budget now, but Sherry should come back.
Yes.
I think that's fair.
please.
We'll do a Star Trek night. We'll get, maybe we'll grab Zala and we'll just do an all Star Trek episode.
Oh my God, that would be so. And he could wear his shirt and stuff. Yeah.
Maybe we can get Mindy involved. Mindy's
Anytime we can get Mindy on, it's fine.
biggest Star Trek fan I know.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
no.
Hi, Dean.
Hey, Dean.
Now I get to say hi to people. This is exciting.
That's right. That's right. And I get to say hi to you to your face.
Yes, yes.
And that's cool. Sherry,
that's absolutely right.
I'm so glad you came out in front of the cameras this time
too.
around.
Yes.
And I look forward to seeing you back here soon.
Yes. I love you guys very much. Thank you.
All right.
You too, kid.
Thank you. We'll talk to you later. Everybody
Got
say
it.
bye to Sherry.
Love you.
All right. That was a lot of fun. She really is enjoying it, and it was one of those things where I think I caught it, and I'm like, hey, this is up, and one of the things I enjoy about that is sharing. One of the cool things we talk about pop culture, and we talked about earlier, is that sharing pop culture with friends and loved ones, and it's I've mentioned before on the show that it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I realized that the reason that I love Star Trek is because I watched it with my dad. Like, it was that thing that one nerdy sci-fi thing that we shared together, and so it's always cool. And so yeah, that was fun.
It is. I watch both Starfleet and Strange New Worlds with my daughter,
Right.
who is probably older than you were when you watched Star Trek with your dad. Nonetheless, we have a terrific time.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Just a terrific time. We feel good when it's over. We're giggling. That's great.
Wonderful. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for being here and listening to that. We have more to come. This is as I said, a jam-packed episode. I want to before we bring in our guests, I just want to tease, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to wherever you're watching this. We are here pretty much every Tuesday night. We have some things scheduled that are going to be some extra episodes. Mike doesn't know yet, but I'll start spoiling some of that. Next week's episode, we're still up in the air just a little bit, but I think I know who that is. The following week, Dan Waters is going to be on the show. We're going to be recording this year. We're going to be recording a bunch of overseas episodes. We have a lot of friends who live on the other side of the Atlantic, and we're going to talk to them, but we're not going to expect them to stay up because
what about Australia? We have friends in Australia.
We do. That's more difficult, but we'll figure that out too. Anyway, John Lees is going to be on the show fairly soon. We have a schedule with him, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, so stay tuned, keep following us, stay tight to our socials, because we'll let you know what's coming up.
Let me say something that pulls the rug out from under you, Bob.
Yep.
Because that's why I'm here. If any of you folks out there in listener land, viewer land, or readers of our website, popculturesquad.com, any of you folks have any desire to see somebody in particular, please write in and let us know.
Yeah.
Give Bob something to do. And also just make sure that person is still living. I think that's the only caveat.
Well, with our guests, we might be able to accomplish a different manner of that goal. When you get a chance to read his next book, you don't know, seances happen.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So now that we spoiled that all around, let's bring in Duane. I've been looking forward to having Duane Swierczynski on the show for a really long time. And I'm happy to bring him on. So here's his intro. Hey, Duane, how are you?
Bob and Mike, great being here. And wow, it's like This Is Your Life. That was a great
Well, it
retrospective.
is that, but it also makes it is This Is Your Life, but it's also This Is Your Life.
Yeah. And I'm
You've
actually
done
so
some
happy for
amazing things.
the Star Trek conversation because, like you, Bob, like I watched the original series with my dad and it was in syndication. It was like
Yeah,
a bonding
sure.
thing, and of course, and like your wife, it's like Picard, and he's my captain. I mean, I grew up, my teenage years watching Next Generation, and it's funny. This past holiday season, I went back to those old episodes. I watched all Picard, like caught up with that, which is great. But then made me want to go back to the original series, and it's like comfort food. It's like I don't know, a simpler, happier time.
It's also one of those things that we have in experience in common, not you and I, but everybody who's involved in our culture, because it's been around forever. It's generated so much material. We've been talking about it for so long. It's very iconographic, and I hate the word icon because it's been overused, but it is iconic. And in that sense, we were talking earlier about Roddenberry's desire, his approach to Star Trek.
Mhm.
The proof is in the pudding.
Mhm.
He's united 3, 4, maybe 5 generations.
Sure.
Mhm. Yeah. It's
Um,
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Duane, just so you know, we are the same age. So and that's that's on me. You look much younger, and I understand that.
Clean living, Bob. I know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I understand that. It's my fault. It's my fault.
I'm kidding.
You are.
No. I wouldn't guess
but,
that. I wouldn't guess that. But.
So we, like I said, same perspective on that.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you for a really long time, and I mentioned earlier before the show started, and so I'm going to lead with it, and I want to lead with Breakneck.
Mhm.
I was familiar with your work for a really long time, and I loved it, and there were certain things that you've done in comics that are really important and I think amazing. Breakneck was transformative for me in that it is such a good comic book story that grabs you, like one of those things. Like so Rick Remender's For Death or Glory has that similar car chase, hold on, buckle in, and let's go.
Right.
That Breakneck has. Only Breakneck is a lot smaller space because it happens inside the city of Philadelphia. And if you know Philadelphia, it's all over. It's beautifully drawn.
Yeah.
And I know you said it had multiple iterations, but when you delivered it in comic form, what was that like for you, particularly because of the locale and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a thrill to write. Although I mentioned before we went live, it was a long in gestation. Originally, it started out as a novel, and it kind of was a joke because reviewers call my novels, they're breakneck pace. Like that's the word. Kind of like, I'll show you a breakneck. I was like, all right, let's just put balls to the wall. How fast can you tell a story? Have this contain like 2-hour real time kind of thing. So the problem is the novel, it's a little hard to do that. It's sort of like unless you put a gun in someone's head, make them read fast. It's like, well, it's we'll see. So for a while I thought maybe it's a movie. So I kind of put it as a spec script, and it just didn't quite come together. And I realized that at the same time, I think Hard Case Crime announced their sort of comics line, and I've always wanted to be part of that. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Hard Case at the beginning. Ramos fan and Charles Ardai, hero. So I was
and a really good writer.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, I mean, he's one of those. I almost want to hate him. He's so talented. But he's also loveliest person. Like, I mean, literally, he's the kind of guy going to sort of, hey, what do you think of this? He'll respond within like an hour and have the most insightful, great edits. So it's like, wow, how does your brain work? I want to bottle that and drink it. So it was a dream to work for Hard Case, and the opportunity popped up. And I pitched him on like, hey, how about this? I have this idea that's gonna be like a fast-paced action movie told in like 4 or 5 issues, and he was into it. It felt like it fit the Hard Case mold.
Oh yeah.
So it was a thrill. I mean, it was a thrill. Then it came time to actually proving it, writing the scripts. And setting in Philly, it was always set in Philly, but the time I lived there, I moved from Philly to LA about 10 years ago. But, for the longest time in my career, like Philly is my playground. I would always set my imaginary stories like where I was. So this story literally takes place in mostly in the northeast of part of Philadelphia, through like on the Frankfurt L. And I grew up in the shadow of the Frankfurt L, literally, as a kid, and then right to downtown. So it was kind of, again, like coming home in a weird way. It was just a blast to write. So I'm so happy you enjoyed it.
Isn't that the neighborhood? And I could be totally wrong. I've been to Philly a lot, but where the highway I-95 collapsed?
Yeah,
Northeast.
Which time, Mike? No, I think there have been sometimes like tire fires happen, close off the highway. I mean, it's a little hazy, but I think recently there was a collapse.
There was one. Yeah, it was in that area.
Yeah. It was an amazing recovery.
Yeah,
it seemed like
it was
about
3 weeks.
Yeah, like 20 minutes later, they're back.
That's right.
That's right. Where I live, a bridge on 95 collapsed about 2 years before I moved here. Okay. And they were still fixing it when I moved here.
Listen, they haven't started on my bridge yet.
Jeez. Yeah.
In
Philly, it was fast.
The bridge hasn't been started yet.
Really? Oh, you also near 95 as well?
No, well, the bridge in Baltimore that fell.
Oh, right.
Years ago.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, that's off of 95, but
yeah.
But at least you guys have cleaned up getting into Baltimore on 95. The greatest swear word I know is I-95.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about how you ended up where you are today on this little screen.
Okay.
You've been a writer. You started writing, publishing, let's say, nonfiction stuff, and you moved into novels and moved into comics. Like, how did that process work for you?
Well, I always wanted to be a fiction writer. Like in high school, that was like I would sort of ignore math class and science because I was bad at it. So I just would write little horror stories to amuse my friends, And it kind of like, for me, it just kind of took off. Like I love doing this, And I remember the night vividly, I want to be a writer. It was my best friend's birthday, and I sat up all night writing him a horror story. And the next day on his birthday, I sat him down and I made him read it because that's the kind of friend I was. No, don't party. Here, read my story. It's like, oh God,
please, I did this for you.
Exactly. Read it now. But he read it. God bless him. And he reached my twist ending, and he actually loved this, like, kind of like reaction. I'm like, that. I want to do that for a living. I want to do that to people. And that was like, I got caught that bug. Like, okay, can I do that for a living? And the answer was, well, not really. I mean, it's hard, obviously. I can't just, launch out of high school. I'm a fiction writer. I was smart enough to know that. So I followed the traditional step. A lot of fiction writers. I became a journalist. And I figured, okay, if I can be a journalist, I would have editors teach me how to be a better writer, and kind of beat the crap out of my sentences. And that's kind of what it did. It was yeah, I mean, it really does. You get that sea of red ink on your pages, like, oh God, what's wrong with me? And it's a great lesson. So I spent the first of my career at my local magazine, Philadelphia Magazine. I went on to got a job later at Men's Health, where I was the unhealthy one. I was the tubby one, which is great. I was a detailed magazine after that. I was the unstylish one. So I was always the weird hire at these places. Like, why are you here? And then went in reverse. It's weird. I mean, my career went back in reverse. I was at Men's Health again, and then Philly Mag again, oddly enough. And then finally, I broke the pattern, and I was the editor of the Philadelphia City Paper, kind of our village voice for a bunch of years. But around that time, I was still writing stories, still writing fiction. And I kind of wanted to do it, and I wrote just for fun. One summer, I remember I was in New York. I was like, you know what? Either put up or shut up. Write a book this summer. And I realized the only way to do that was give myself a deadline, like a proper journalist, right? So I thought, 1,000 words a day, all summer long. By the end, you'll have a book-shaped thing at least. If it's good or bad, if it's bad, that's okay. It's a book-shaped thing, like you did it,
Sure.
And I did that, and
that's a great exercise.
Yeah, it was a breakthrough for me. It's like, because it's so easy to put down something after you've fussed around with it, play around with it. The thrill's gone. It's like, I'll put it aside. And I had a lot of half-finished books, in the drawer. But this was like, all right, I finished it, and it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. it needed work, a lot of work, but that's the start of it. And like I found like I found an agent shockingly fast, which is weird because that's not usually the case. But it wasn't because my book was great. It was more like I think he liked that was a Details magazine. I think I was an inroad there. So hey, I used it.
You bet.
Yeah, right. I mean, use what you can get, connections. I mean, I didn't grow up, in any kind of publishing family. So I spent 2 years revising it. We sent off into the world, and it was nothing. It didn't sell. Like a lot of nice, like, oh yeah, great. This is good call, close, but not. We can't do anything of this. So went back and I started writing nonfiction books. Figured, okay, I got the book bug, and I want to do nonfiction books. So that was kind of fun too. I kind of specialized in a weird beat of like crime and booze. That was my beat for a while.
Sounds fair.
Yeah,
You're supposed to know what you're right about.
You're still doing that. You're still writing about
what you know.
Exactly. So that and
when people do get to read Dead
nonfiction
Flowers,
became-
they will see booze and crime.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It's still with me, But it's funny how the nonfiction led back to fiction because I wrote this book called "This Here's a Stick Up: The Big Bad Book of American Bank Robbery," and it was kind of a quick, summary of like the history of bank robbery in America. And for the introduction, I decided to case my own bank in Philadelphia if I were to rob it. And I had a really good plan, by the way. I think it could have worked. But instead of doing it, I wrote about it in a book called The Wheelman. It was like that. I just went off and followed it. Inspired by Richard Stark's, Parker novels, Donald Westlake pseudonym Richard Stark. I mean, that was inspiration. I just read a ton of like, crime novels and thought, okay, this is so much fun to play in this world. So that's kind of where it started. And by the time I sold my first book, and for real, I was, and this the paper, and it was both. And then that kind of led into, this is a long answer, I apologize. The crime novels I wrote Ed Brubaker a fan letter once because I loved Criminal, his series.
I was wondering how that happened.
Yeah, so I was like, dude, love this. It still is like one of the best, crime series ever in comics form.
Sure.
And he wrote back saying, oh wow, I just got your book, The Blonde. That's all. And we just started talking, and he's like, do you ever want to write for comics? I'm like, I would give my left arm, to do that, sure. And at the time he was at Marvel, and I had a tryout on Punisher, had a tryout on Wolverine, like a lot of us, crime writers, and that kind of took off too. It was so much fun. I mean, as a lifelong comics nerd, that was serious thrill.
You bet. My background, I started out in journalism as well.
Oh, okay.
As a teenager, I was lucky enough to be paid for it when I was 16. That's what turned me into a professional writer. I was being paid for it. But I was fortunate enough to work when I was a kid with some really good editors.
Wow.
And that not only taught me how to write better, but how to become an editor.
Yeah.
And of course, the psychology classes help too. But it really, we're in the entertainment business. It doesn't matter if you're writing fiction or nonfiction or journalism or essays. It doesn't matter. We're in the entertainment business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're very much in the communications business.
Yeah.
And I think for people who have brains and know how to use them, we're also in the truth business.
Yeah.
So if you can access your truth, you can write.
Yes. So well said. I mean, I love that. I mean, editors were like the best mentors I ever had. I mean, I have really patient people who really just cared enough to really walk me through. Here's where you're messing up. Here's where you try this way. Give this a shot.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. I love the collaborative experience.
Yeah.
It is so much fun, to like see something in print. Well, back in my early days, it would be months after we did it.
Yeah.
And you look at it in print and you go like, hey, this is really good. like you're surprised.
Yeah.
And this happens to me all the time, and most writers I know as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No thrill like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get to Dead Flowers, which is the new Storm King book. But before we do that, I want to kind of follow on what you were talking about. So as I do my research and make sure, we've been mutuals for probably 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Or I remember you moving to California and all that went on with that. And but I go back and I do some research, make sure I know things. So I saw that were in a criminal, like you did a forward to a criminal thing at one point, and then but your real first gig in comics was Cable.
Actually, before that, yes.
Well, you
yeah,
did a couple of things, but that was the first
like, run. Yeah, the first
run.
like. Although I'm very proud of my first like mini series. I did a Werewolf by Night mini series.
Yes.
I was very
Well,
proud of that because
I think it came out after Cable.
Oh, you're
started.
right. I guess I worked on it before. You know how comics can be
You
like
may
this,
have, yes.
yeah. That was a thrill because my very first comic I ever read as a kid was Werewolf by Night. My parents gave me the book and record set that the Power Records put out. It's that was the most amazing thing. Like the pages, hearing the soundtrack, the gunshots. Oh man, my brain was on fire. I'm like, oh yeah, this is amazing. So that chance to work on that story, Jack Russell, just thrill. So yeah.
But the Cable story is huge. Like how did that like this is your first real comics thing, where I mean obviously you had now that I know that you had worked on that before, but like you're entrusted with the future of the mutant race. That for people who don't know, that Cable story was after the mutant messiah thing where the first mutant was born after M Day, and Scott hands the baby to his son and says, "Take her to the future." And here it's in Duane's hands.
Yeah, I mean, I think it happened by luck. I definitely lucked into it. I mean, Axel Alonso was my editor, and he was he liked what I did on I guess on a few of the smaller things I did, and I'm not sure why he entrusted me with it because I know later I heard other people definitely wanted to do it. I was not first in running by any stretch, but
sure.
He saw something maybe because I was a dad. I had a young daughter.
Sure.
I did kind of base a lot of of hope.
There's a lot of that. It comes through.
Yeah, I kind of saw it as like father-daughter story. Told against a impossible situation. It was just it felt right. It was intimidating though. I mean, it did. As an X-Men fan, I was like, God, don't screw this up. Because it was nerve-wracking, but fun. I think
that's awesome.
Was it fun? It was
fun. I loved it.
No, thank you.
I'm not a huge Cable fan, just because I remember the little baby, and I've come along in ways, I loved the far future stuff, but he's meant to be gritty and rough and stuff like that. I've never been a huge, but your run humanized him for me in ways that I hadn't been before. And I love the story that was told there. And it really, it speaks to who you are as a writer in the way that you can evoke that kind of emotion. I think.
Oh, thank you. It's the word humanized. Like that was a goal for mine, like to actually make him like not this all-powered, X god. He's like this guy. He's a struggling father, and the more time goes on, the more he's weakened. He just, I kind of really love. I'm not kidding. In my own novels and comics, like grinding characters, I love to the ground and see what they're made of. Like just push them to their edge and just say, will they crack? Will they come back somehow?
He knew he didn't know what he was doing. Like he knew he's like, I have no idea what I'm doing here.
That's your job. You have to entertain the reader, and that includes surprising the reader, and that therefore means you're going to go into each character that the reader cares about and find those nooks and crannies, because that's where the stories are.
Oh yeah.
You go in, you go into that, and you're serving your audience, you're serving the character, and if you got any smarts, you're writing a good story.
Yeah. And to your point, by telling the truth, Mike, it's like also being true. Like it's fiction, but there has to be that vein of truth, I think, to make it kind of come to life. At least for me.
You bet. The truth. And I never thought I'd say this. I was a yippie 50 years ago. I never thought I'd say this. But the truth really is important. Mm-hmm. And it's really worthwhile. And now that we don't have it anymore, I miss it.
Yeah. I hear that.
Let's talk about the new thing. For the past few years, you've been doing a lot of work with Storm King, and we love Storm King. Sandy is a force to be reckoned with, and I think that you are the. Is this the third Dark and Twisted? Because I know there's two that Kat and Amanda did, and I didn't know if there was another one before this that they didn't do. There
Yeah.
may have been.
There may have been. I think there was one that, yeah. This is the fourth, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my first Dark and Twisted. I did a three different series under the Tales of Science Fiction banner. This is my Dark and Twisted debut.
This is Dark and Twisted debut. I've read this book. I don't know. I don't have the date in front of me when it comes out. It's next month, I think.
I think it's probably next week, actually, February 10th, I believe.
Is it?
But I think so.
I'm completely lost. Then I apologize on that.
No.
No
worries.
Get it where you can get it. It's going to be available, and you can get it, digitally, or you can order it online. If your comic shop has it, if your comic shop, carries Storm King, they're probably going to have it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this book. I have a lot of notes. First of all,
it's because he loves you.
let's get to the nitty gritty. You use a line in this book I'm not going to spoil too much, but there's a person who's going to use the restroom, and they say, "Shaking the dew off my lily," and I want to know, for the people who are listening, where the heck does that come from?
I love that jumped out at you.
Well, I will say, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's well done. There's a reason why it jumps out, and I hope you know why the reason. So the reason why it jumps out is so perfect. I can't wait for people to read this. I wish I could be with people when they get to that point and they read that line. They're like, "Oh, something's going to happen here."
That was new to you, Bob? You never heard the line?
The expression was new to me, but there's a double entendre with it in the book, and so you have to get there. So I'm trying to hype it up more. Like it means more than just somebody going to the bathroom.
Yes. I first heard that. I grew up before I was a journalist. When I was even young. I played my father's bar and wedding band. So I was literally 10 years old, hammering out like doors and stones, chord changes. In my dad's band. That was my first career. Paid for it, actually. I was paid in tips at first, and then I was paid for real. And so we had later the wedding band. Our lead singer, a guy named Valentine O'Connor. Great name, Valentine. Name, right?
Great silly name, right?
He was, almost like a big brother to me. He was like, not too much. He's not 10 years older, but like he was old timey. He just loved the old standards. Like he was a throwback. And he was one guy who taught me, if I want to be drink underage in a bar, order a gin gimlet. Don't ever question it. Like, oh, this kid, all right. So he once used that expression. I think I probably on stage, like, "Hey, I gotta go shake the dew off my lily." I'm like, what the hell does that mean? It just stayed in my brain for years, and I've come to use it more often these days in my dotage. I said it in front of a friend like just 2 weeks ago. My friend Scott. I'm like, I gotta go shake the dew off my lily. He's like, well, that's graphic.
There are a lot of phrases like that fall out of favor, and they're not necessarily with respect to executory functions, but they're my father used to say, as the crow flies. How far away is that? Well, it's 5 miles as the crow flies. And I realized that he grew up in Indianapolis, and I guess there were a lot of crows that would be flying or something. That's what I figured. And then I saw it in like a Fred McMurray movie in The Absent-Minded Professor, was it? Or Flubber, or one of those.
That's the same one.
Yeah, it's no, there's Flubber, which is a sequel, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Maybe.
I really don't know. I'm not a Disney expert. Although the way things are going,
listen, all we need to know is Fred McMurray and it's Disney. There we go. We all know.
That's right. That's right. There are all these phrases, and what bothers me is when I'm reading a novel and somebody said it in time, they don't use the right phrases of the era. Now I know why they do that, because I would do the same thing, because the reader isn't going to get it. Unless you can put it in a context where the reader can figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I've dedicated my life to using old phrases and old words that have gone out of out of our lexicon and reviving those and trying. I use the word swell,
I love the
and
word swell.
and people stop me when I'm talking. And I just say swell, blah blah blah, and they go, "Wait a moment, did you say swell?"
Right.
It's good work.
Well, I have one for you, Mike. I have a good one for you, and it also features Fred McMurray. This is random, but I love this one. I was watching a Disney movie years ago. It's called The Happiest Millionaire, starring Fred McMurray. It was like, remember that? It was a live action, set actually based on a real story in Philly. And at one point, the Fred McMurray father character is talking to his daughter and says, and she's all happy about something, a boy. And he's like, "Don't come popping in here like some gay cricket," which.
Wow! Wow!
Right?
Wow!
I've been waiting to use that for years. Like, don't come popping in here like some gay cricket. Like, it's just so great. He's annoyed.
Writers have something in common with teachers in that we can have conversations about using phrases or words that are not normally used and why they're good and why they're bad. And those conversations are like, fanboy conversations about who's stronger, the Thing or the Hulk or whatever. It's
Right.
the same exact thing, But of course, if it's about our language, it is acceptable.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, Bob, I'm glad you noticed that line. I appreciate that. That's really.
Well, I mean,
really
yeah, it
appreciate
was
that.
fun, and it is fun. I want to talk. Let's talk about the story a little bit.
Mhm.
So the artist is Andrea Moody, and Janice Chang did the letters, and we can't not talk about Janice Chang's letters because she's a goddess. We
She's
love
awesome.
Janice.
She knows them all. She knows every one of them.
She knows all the letters. I know. She made her own. Did you approach Andrea? Was that something that was put together? How did that work for you?
Well, we had worked together on a few other stories over the years, for the anthology, but also a few of the other series we did. But he's great. He's great to work with. He's a delight. He's hilarious and never flinches. Like, "Hey, Andrea, you want to draw this?" He's like, "Okay." I think
he did a
cool,
amazing job in this because it's
yeah.
There, it doesn't. It almost feels new. Like his lines are a little darker, a little stronger. Not. It's not a. I'm just saying it's almost a reinvention in his performance. I just really, really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. What's interesting about that? I mean, maybe the process, because this is the first time, for me at least, that I've done right to graphic novel. There's not issues. There weren't issues. Like before, it was like
sure,
4 or 5 issues, and like you have a deadline, you have these things, and it's a pace.
And maybe that's different for him too.
Yeah, at our leisure, we had a lot of time. Santa gave us a lot of time to work on it, and I just use that time. It was a lot of fun to kind of and not worry about a cliffhanger break on page 20 or something. It was like, okay, I can do chapters in this, but they can be like I can do a short chapter. I can do like a novel almost. So it felt like the first graphic novel, with the emphasis on the word novel I've written. Purely that was one story. Yeah,
that's it. That's true. I mean, that is one of the things you notice about it, that there are these chapter breaks that are really well timed, really well thought out, but they don't have to be 20 pages,
right?
Or or 11 pages and then 11 pages or something like that. And they're it's a really fun story. There's a lot of twists. It's very dark, so that you definitely hit the nail on the head there.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it.
Well, yeah.
I have a question about Dead Flowers. I have not read it, I regret to say. It's on my pile. My pile is bigger than a mountain.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not alone here in that. But
that's a red pile. Those are things that have to get in the database. The read piles are over there.
I see. So is Dead Flowers in reference to the Rolling Stones or to Bobby Darin?
Oh, Stones, but it was actually, that title came kind of later. I was calling it something else, not great. I can't remember what the placeholder title was, but for me it was the Stones. That's my. I mean, from my bar band days, that's a classic.
Oh yeah, sure. Check out Bobby Darin's version.
Okay.
It's not a version; it's a different song.
Yeah.
It comes from a Broadway play that failed immediately,
Wow.
which I love. It said, "Oh wait, that song is good. Let's do that." It's a weird, great song.
I'm
Check
so
it
shocked I
out.
don't know this. I do like Bobby Darin. I'm shocked I don't know this. Usually I'm pretty good at this, like, music trivia stuff. That shocks me, but I'll look
Well,
it up.
I've been a disc jockey among many other things in my
Oh,
life for
okay.
many years. So, and I wrote a music column and all that crap.
Yeah.
So I know some weird stuff.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But yeah, I mean, actually, it's a perfect because the flowers is the sort of one of the metaphors, like, and of course
Yeah,
inspired by the Black
let me-
Dahlia. I mean, like, all these like red gardenias, like it's all these mystery and crime fiction has this tradition of flower titles and flower symbolism, and it's just fun to play with that world.
I want to give the listeners and watchers. So this is the first like kind of blurb about it. So the story is in 1949, gruesome murder shakes the small town that's home to the notorious Aztec Hotel. By the way, small town is Monrovia, California.
Yes.
A once prohibition era den for gamblers, drinkers, and sexual deviants. The mysterious killer, dubbed the Flower Arranger, mixes and matches body parts of three victims, Violet, Rose, and Lily, in a grotesque display before vanishing into thin air, leaving a mystery unsolved for decades. And then and then it's framed in a really, really fun way. I'll for people who haven't read it, and I think this is fair enough to say, it's framed in telling the story of the murders in a like a crime tour, a true crime tour. So it's narrated in interesting ways, and your dialogue is really sharp, and you can almost you can hear the banter that goes on between the characters as they're going through all of these things, and then it gets crazy. But
and then it gets crazy.
then it gets crazy.
Yeah.
So where did you come up with this idea?
Well, two places. It's funny. I'm going to mention that because two sources. One was actually real life crime and history tours that are here in LA called Esotoric. Yeah, Kim Cooper and Richard Shea do this amazing like weekly tours of like they do a Black Dahlia tour. They also do like tours focused on James Cain, Raymond Chandler, Hollywood noir. I mean, they kind of find these great deep dive stories in LA history. I was mesmerized by it. I thought, wow, these tours are fun. You're actually in a bus. Well, it used to be bus before COVID. It was a bus tour. Now it's walking tours. I'm thinking actually one this week, Hollywood noir walking tour. I can't get enough of these things. So I thought, okay, what if that always was like kind of a fun, pardon the expression, vehicle, right, for a story, a bus tour. You're kind of stuck with strangers. You're exploring a mystery. It's already kind of weird. What can go wrong? Is my always question is, how can I ruin these people, these folks' day? How can I mess them up?
You figured it out.
Was Monrovia. I moved to Monrovia 5 years ago. I moved. I've since moved, but I was blocks away from the real life Aztec Hotel, which you haven't seen it. It's bonkers. It's just like weird oddity. I love it. It's just glorious. It's meant to be mimic Mayan architecture, and it's not quite that. It's sort of a fake, California version of Mayan architecture.
Kind of like the Aztec Hotel in Seaside Heights.
Oh, is there one there too?
There is one in Seaside Heights.
Oh my God. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm sort of used to be a Jersey Shore guy, so I don't know. That's interesting. Anyway, so I went there for a tour. I do a lot of tours, but they did a ghost tour, and I thought it was fun. But also, for a while there, I started getting my hair cut in the barber shop on the ground floor of the Aztec. And my barber, Greg, would tell me ghost stories. He was a really normal guy. He wasn't like, gothed out. He was just this normal dude, a parent. And he was very sensitive to spirits. And he'd tell me every week, every couple months for a haircut. Yeah, I saw this, apparition wander the lobby. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I mean, that was like, again, those two things. I thought, okay, maybe it's not a bus tour. Maybe it's a true crime tour in this haunted hotel. And I thought, why not set at the Aztec? I love that idea of like, the real place and drawing on real lore to, tell the story.
Right.
I mean, I love the fact that you do that. There's a couple of things you do in here where there's real world centering of things. You mentioned we talked earlier. You mentioned for people who do read the book, there's a mention of a library, and that library is real. I actually know that library.
Right.
And yeah. And then the concept of where this hotel is and its relation to Santa Anita and just like I love how it's very much in our world, but it's also in there's a lot of blood in this book. There's a lot of crazy. There's a lot of oh shit, that's what's about to happen. There's some of that.
Yeah, I mean, I say actually a good chunk of the book is actually real. I mean, there are a lot of real things in the book that I kind of just gleefully stole from reality.
that type of realism is what makes it work for those people who happen to be in the area or familiar with the story. And they're the easiest audience to lose, because if you get it wrong, you've shot your credibility. They know the stuff.
Right.
I lived for a few years a couple of blocks away from where the St. Valentine's Day Massacre occurred.
Oh, wow.
And between me and my apartment was, and still is, a park called Oz Park. Baum wrote Oz in Chicago.
Oh.
But Oz Park, it's got the yellow bricks and all of that. And it's got these wonderful sort of statues of the various Oz characters as seen in the books, not the movie, because who wants to write MGM a check every week? And you see kids walk through there. My favorite bar was there too, so I did a lot of that. But you walk through there, and you see the little kids looking up at those statues, and you realize the weight that falls upon you as a storyteller.
Yeah. I love that.
Love that. Me too. That's part of the job. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, I love setting things. My books are set in Philadelphia, and I love messing with people who do know Philly and kind of would go, is this location real? I remember one book I wrote called Severance Package, and to spoil things, a building may have caught on fire and collapsed. So I made sure it was set on a corner where there was a vacant lot for years. And I was praying someone would read it, go to the corner, and I think, oh man, this is real. The place burned down. Just to mess with people, I love that. Sadly, since then they've built something new. I'm bummer, but I love that.
I know, but I love going to those locations.
Yeah.
There are a couple. Now, I don't drink alcohol, but there are a bunch of bars in New York City that go back to the turn of the last century. Go back to the turn of the century before that. There's a bar that was around since 1812. And they're very aware of their history, because that's how they get the customers. So you go in and you gawk at the place, and you realize all the history that's been there. You don't even have to see artifacts, but they have them. Just to know, I mean, the Ed Sullivan Theater is like that. Every time you see a musician in particular on Colbert's show or on Letterman before that, and they're in the Ed Sullivan Theater, you can see the awe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Places
are powerful. Yeah. I mean,
I
love that. I mean, my favorite thing about being my job, being a novelist is honestly location scouting. I tend to set things in real places, and I love the experience, because when you walk around places, you notice little things that kind of inform the story. Often, it's it's a tactile thing with me. I remember what book I wrote. I went to look for a good body dump site in Philly, and I found one. It's great. So it's sort of that's a special joy. It's I can actually hide a body here. This is cool. Yeah, and I just
I can think about. I haven't been to Philly in a few years, just a few, but I can think of a few places where I can hide a body.
I just want to put it's a theme a bit on this show. We had Cami Garcia on a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking about how she came up with ideas. There were some bomb things that she had researched in real life, and writers on this show are just revealing their commitment to the research.
It's funny.
Wasn't that she and I had a conversation about the Anarchist Cookbook?
Yes, we did. Yes.
Now you don't hear that a lot.
No.
These days, no.
It's funny, as a former journalist, the fun thing is I would talk to police officers, and as an interview informally, it's they're very, very closed mouth. It's whatever, blah blah. You tell me you're a novelist, though, and they'll tell you things that you probably shouldn't know. It's they're just it's sort of great. Wearing the fiction hat forgives a lot of sins. People tell you anything. because I don't know, it's I think people do want to tell their stories, but if it's like, being quoted in a newspaper for the world to see, it's a little leery, it's a little nerve-wracking. But if it's, made up, that's okay. People tell
That's
you the
right.
most awful things.
Or at least you can say it's made up.
Right, exactly.
Sure, completely
Yeah.
fictional.
Yep.
There's nothing to see here.
We make this up
Right.
for a
You're
living.
covered. Immunity.
We'll come back to Dead Flowers a little bit. I have a question for you. So you've been at this for over 2 decades now in terms of being professional, in terms of fiction stuff that's getting published and stuff. Close to 3, but we'll try to stay younger. But what's the one thing you learned as a writer that surprised you the most?
Oh wow, what a great question. I feel like there's a lot of things. Like the most one thing that comes to mind right away is like, and I try to share this with people who are aspiring writers or are struggling with writing something. I mean, the biggest thing for me, breakthrough, was daily contact with your work. Even if it's like a little bit a day, just saying alive in that world. It's almost like you're trying to break into a different world, and if you don't visit that world often enough, it may vanish like an oasis. It may just disappear. Like, I think daily contact, just living it.
Do you find that happens? Like, if you have times where you don't have that, do you find it difficult?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to get back to that, that place. It's so like, whenever I start something, I kind of know I've like caught a novel, like a cold, like, oh, I have a novel in me. Oh, damn, this is okay. I have to sort of like, just like see it through. And if I've had some novels kind of fall apart because I got distracted, or I kind of put it aside for a while. I'm like, and usually it's also for a good reason, honestly. For me, I realized that, it's stalled, not because it's not a good story. I made a misstep somewhere. I took a wrong path. If I rewind and try a different route, it's like almost like magic. It's like, okay, here we go, we're back. But I think for me, it's just that living that daily life of like, okay, a little bit. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to do this. Your entire day. You can just literally spend 10 minutes on an idea, write a few notes down if you want, and just stay at that daily contact. That was a huge thing for me to learn. God, I mean,
good.
I also learned that writers live in their heads a lot, as go figure. But it's important to actually remember to have a life to write about.
Yes, that's the first thing they teach you in high school if you're taking like a creative writing class.
Yeah.
And you can see all the kids in the room looking at each other and going like, I'm a kid. I don't have anything to write about.
Yeah.
Well, we had a saying at the underground newspaper I worked for. There's no news out there. Go make some.
I love that. Yeah. Actually, I taught journalism, college journalism, for a couple classes over the years, couple of years. It was great because I had a standing offer. If you can go out and find me a person who has no story to tell, the most boring person on the planet, I'll give you an A. You can leave now. You'll be fine. Because there is no such person. There always is something. There's always a story. Yeah. Every human being alive has like some kind of wrinkle, or a lot of them usually. So it's like, it's about curiosity, honestly. I think a lot of us writers are curious children still. We hold on to that. And that's gotten stronger as I get older. It's weird. I'm just a frighteningly curious person. Just like always asking questions. I'm just fascinated by things all the time.
Many writers, many communicators have this sort of hill they have to cross, they have to get over. They have to believe that their story is worth telling, that other people can care about your story. And that happens very young, very early on. So that makes, your first editor or 2 or 3 really critical. And my first real editor, the guy really took the time, a guy named Dave Peck, who's a legend in many circles.
Yeah.
And he was one of the most influential people. I mean, I'd learned from Joe Orlando on the visual storytelling techniques and things like that. And that's great. But it starts with your having the courage, and it is courage to believe that other people might care about what's going on in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so right. And I think part of that for me is I try to think about, writing for yourself, of course, but it's also like I'm an entertainer. You said before, we're all entertainers. Even with journal, I mean, I just want to entertain people, make it that I don't want to waste their time. The biggest sin to me is wasting my time, wasting someone else's time. You know, like I'm going to give you something for your time. You're giving your time, your attention. I better do my best to entertain
That's
the living
right.
hell out of you. You know, and do surprise you or to teach something you didn't know or something. You know, it's a contract you enter with a reader. You know, as a reader, I'm a huge reader. I expect that from books I
Right.
pick up.
Yes, I don't know any writer who isn't a reader.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can even do that. But on the other hand, I don't know how you can go through life without being a reader.
That too. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to come back to something else you worked on in your comics career, and I want your opinion on this. So you wrote a Rogue One story with Andor, and there's now been 2 seasons of Cassian Andor's life on TV.
Right.
Did you watch Andor? What did you think of it as somebody who already took a shot at it? Like, how did that work for you as somebody who's like, it's like almost like go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I know how great it is. It's just a matter of carving out time to sit down and watch it. I heard it's
okay. That's fine.
Especially in our in this world we're living in. But yeah,
absolutely. I am not. I have not finished season 2. So let's.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm with you. But
yeah. I did love me. I'm funny. I mean, the Star Trek stuff. I am probably a bigger Star Trek fan than Star Wars. However, Star Wars is huge. I mean, our generation, that's like it's huge,
right?
And I love.
I don't feel the need to pick one or the other.
Yeah,
a lot of people do. I don't.
Yeah.
They're both important, and they both are just they fueled the imagination of generations.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so that was a thrill to be like, asked to pitch stories set in this world. And it was the craziest like that to go out too, is we were brought out to Lucasfilm to like read Lily under not armed guard, but close, read the script. Like, okay, we know what we're doing. We had a few days to like gestate and then pitch what we wanted to pitch. That was a thrill. I mean, just kind of seeing the, back to what Mike was saying, like the idea of like imagination come to life as real physical things around you. I mean, it's just so incredible. I mean, just this all came out of people's heads, and I'm looking at these physical objects that, and that speak to millions of people. It was awe-inspiring, I love any place that celebrates imagination, and that's one of them. So that was a lot of fun. I wrote it, and then I think at one point, I'm not telling you schools to tell us about school, but like it was canceled. They weren't going to do it. They changed their minds. Like, oh man, I could have, I mean, it could have been so cool. A Star Wars comic, but then it came back. I'm not sure what was going on, behind the scenes. That's above my pay grade, but I was happy it finally did come out, and I'm very proud that I actually named a planet after South Philly.
What did you name the planet?
It's a Wekiko. It's the old Native American name for South Philly, the area of South Philly. So I snuck that in there. It got approved because everything's approved. Like this is like now Star Wars canon, and I got that in there. So I was pretty happy about that, how to represent the hometown.
Of course.
But yeah, it was fun to write again. It was so much fun to write about. I mean, I love creative challenges too. Like if you say, here's $1,000, go write me a pastoral romance. I'll write you a great pastoral romance. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna just try to do it because it's a challenge. It's fun. Yeah.
At some time in the future, maybe 50 years, somebody is going to write their master's thesis on the little places you dropped in all of your work.
Oh, jeez.
And they're going to analyze all of that stuff.
Listen,
and there's nothing you can do about it. And it won't happen until after you're dead. So don't worry about it.
No, that's flattering. I love it.
But but it's in print. It's now, we have all these wires and tubes. It's there forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm an obsessive. Like literally, my favorite noir novelist is a guy named David Goodis. He's a Philadelphia novelist, and a friend of mine and I, we actually would often go and like try to look up the real life locations because he would, I think, do the same thing, scout locations for his crime novels and go to real places. I mean, that was like my version of a hobby, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Just have that connection and kind of understand, okay, what was he seeing back then? What was this all about? So as a fellow obsessive, I applaud that effort. If someone is foolish enough to do that someday, great.
So, I'm an architecture fan, pretty much of 19th to 20th century architecture, Daniel Burnham, those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at these buildings, these magnificent buildings, many of which are still around, the Flatiron Building.
Oh,
And you know that there's 20,000 stories that come out of that building, out of those bricks.
yes.
Everything in our lives, everything in our environment, everything in other people's environments, and everything in environments that we can make up is real in the book.
Yeah. Yes. Well said. I agree.
I'm interesting about, like, this is an interesting concept, and I don't know if this is where this is gonna go, but probably the most viral I've ever gone on what was Twitter, when it was Twitter, was when I complained about Catcher in the Rye. Now, I didn't read Catcher in the Rye in high school. I didn't read it till I was almost 40. And you are from Philly, and I was from Jersey / New York area, and
Right.
it is completely impossible. The time lapse that happens in that book is illogical, and it pissed me off.
Wow. I can't remember
did
that. I mean, I
you-
know it's a a young man on it, and I read it in high school, so I'm
Yeah.
fuzzy on
So
it.
Yeah, me
he
too.
left
Yeah, me
Philly,
too.
went to New York, and spent the entire night. It all takes place in a night,
Yeah.
and there's
Right.
too much to happen for a 15-year-old, even in the 50s,
Yeah.
to occur. It's a snowstorm, and you're going to get from Philly to New York,
Oh,
and then go on to it just seems illogical.
yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, people didn't like my take.
But it's the reality of that story. I'm not a
The
big
reality of knowing the place, right?
Yeah.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Catcher in the Rye because when I was a kid, it was like, oh, this dirty novel that we're forced to read in school, isn't that great?
Mhm.
So it was sort of this living conundrum, and it's very hard for any work to live up to that if you're
Oh, yeah.
14 years old.
Right.
Yes.
This is going to be impossible.
Absolutely.
But yet, that's our job.
Yeah.
That's our job. Make it work.
Right.
And everybody's going to take it a different way. So good luck, folks.
By the same
Yes.
token, when I read Breakneck, it was completely logical. Made total sense that all that happened in that time frame when he got from this place to that place.
Yeah.
And that kudos to you.
I mean, really, I knew how long it took to go through the L ride from the Bridge and Pratt station down.
Right.
I timed it. I made sure it was accurate, like down to the minute. Like, could this possibly happen? Could this stuff really, it was important because I didn't want someone from Philly saying, "Oh, this is nonsense. You can't do that. You can't get from here to here, and that would not
Right.
work." I'm a stickler for those things too. So I had to do my homework. It's also research, by the way. It's also a great procrastination technique. You can research forever.
Oh, yeah. Boy, that's
I've been
for
doing that for
sure.
a long time.
That's for sure. If the internet
Yeah.
was around when I was a kid, I would never have put fingers to keyboard.
So right, so
It's-
accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeez.
Yeah, yeah.
Scary.
So you are right. Dead Flowers does come out next week.
Oh, good.
If you're watching, you haven't paid attention in the comment section of where this is at this point, there's a link to the Amazon page.
Okay.
Amazon's Amazon, but it is there. You can get it there. You
Great.
can order it now, and it'll be at your house next week.
When
And,
you're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be careful.
Yeah.
it may slip into your somewhere.
How did your relationship with Storm King come about?
Oh, great question. Thanks to my good friend David J. Scow. He's a writer.
Oh,
You probably know of David. His work on well known for The Crow. He wrote The Crow. But I grew up, I was a splatterpunk reader in my teenage years. Like my rebels were like Clive Barker, David Scow, John Skipping, Craig Spector, Richard Christian Mathis. Like always, like they to me were punk rock, like pushing the boundaries of like what horror fiction was. Like yes, So kind of years later, I kind of had the opportunity to meet David in real life, and we kind of hit it off. They say never meet your heroes, I would say except if it's David J. Scow. He's just a sweetheart and brilliant. He's like an older brother who just, knows everything in a good way.
Yeah.
But so huge fan. And at one point I was out, and before I moved to LA, I was crashing in his sort of guest apartment. They called it Underworld, and that was very aptly named, by the way. But it was great. We were hanging out. He's like, yeah, I got the invitation from Sandy King, who's John Carpenter's spouse, to pitch a comic story. What am I doing? How do I do this? Because I did the comics. So we talked about it. We both ended up going to Sandy's, the office, to just talk to her about it. And somehow I left that meeting. I was writing a story for her too. It was like, that's how great she was. She was like, yeah, you write comics.
I'm completely unsurprised by that story.
Oh yeah. I mean, Sandy's, I've gotten to know her over the years, last dozen years. She's lovely. She's wonderful. Tough as nails, sharp as anything. But like, my God, she's just like, and I just, her vibe, best experience I've had actually in comics, because she's just so open to what you want to do. And she'll tell you if it's wrong. And she'll tell you if it doesn't like it. But it's like, she's just like, hit me, thrill me, essentially. It's great.
Yeah, she's tough as nails. She's a great person. I love the fact that she's in comics. I love the fact that they keep doing it. We will continue to support Storm King.
I'm glad.
I had a chance to interview her years ago, and I feel like it's just something that I need to do, going forward. Like every time, whenever I get to see them, the Storm King folks, it's always great. So
I mean, there's Sean, her right hand. I mean, the whole team is just amazing. It's like, it feels like a family. It really does, because we meet up.
It is like, so I usually run into them the last few years. At New York, I didn't go this year, but usually they have a big show at New York Comic Con, and it's a booth that's like it's a living room, right? She's got her couches and her chairs, and there's food, and Janice is bringing cookies, and that's how it goes.
It's really the best experience working, with them. And we have, and the anthology has a signing at Golden Apple Comics, and in LA every year, every Halloween. It's like a tradition at this point. You go sign comics, and the fans are the best. Like, I mean, I'm a huge John Carpenter fan, so it's like, I can't believe I'm actually down the table from this guy. I just adore him and his work. So that's a thrill. And just seeing, I love seeing the merch people bring for them to sign. It's always like something fun and crazy. People really get into it. And then get the luck out, we go back to their place to have sandwiches and soda pop and chill.
Are you great. Is there another Dark and Twisted lingering?
Actually not at the moment. I do have some. My editor is always sort of nudging me. What's next? So I do have some ideas. It's a matter of, honestly, it's funny. I have a bunch of ideas. We all do, but it's like to find the right format for them. It feels like sometimes a discovery process. Like, is this a comic? Is this a novel? Maybe it's a story, maybe it's an operetta. I don't know. It's always something like, I'm not sure that if I sort of feel it out for a while, and what feels like, does it make the most sense? Do I want to tell this in this format, this structure? So, but yeah, I mean, I hope so. Yeah. Be great.
Absolutely.
Give Gilbert and Sullivan a call. What the hell?
Listen.
Yep.
That's one of the funniest things about this you learn, you have friends and you talk to things. So many people who are, comics writers or associated with comics have musical backgrounds and a lot of things like that.
Just like real people.
Yes. Yes, like real people, but like they're writing novels or comic book stories, and they're also writing, operas about hockey.
Yeah.
I love her.
I'd see that. Groucho Marx always was, I mentioned Gilbert and Sullivan, a huge Gilbert and Sullivan fan.
Right.
And his ambition since he was a kid was to play the lead in the Mikado.
Oh.
And in the 50s, yes, he did it on television. And it was very good. It could have been better if he'd been like 10 years younger, because his voice wasn't quite as powerful as it was 10 years earlier. But it's Groucho Marx. Who the hell cares?
Right. Sure.
And he is doing what he always wanted to do his whole life, and you can see that. And you can read that in writers' work and artists' work. in a musician. You can hear it in a musician's work. And that contact, we can't build that contact, but boy, we live off of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. Music has always been important to me. I made my living or whatever, my tip money in my teenage years playing in bands. But like, it's remained important. But I realized at some point, like, I really had a choice. I can pursue music, but I knew deep down, I'm okay. I'm not great. I mean, I don't have the voice. I don't have the chops. I mean, I know it's like be a hard path. I thought writing though, that really interests me and fascinates me. I'm not sure I'm any good at that either, but more was I thought to pull that direction. Like I think I can do writing and try it and see how it goes. But that was really, I remember a conscious decision. Like I got to choose one. I can't do both. I can do one for fun, but I can't do both.
Right. I get that.
Mind.
And of course, if you're going to talk about it 20 years later, then obviously you made the right decision.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel lucky to have stumbled into this, and I've already exceeded my wildest dreams. When I was a teenager, if I had one story published somewhere, I was like, that's great, that's the pinnacle, So I'm super lucky to have done, have a career at this. It's a weird blessing.
There's nothing like seeing your name in print for the first time.
My name, especially, it's so long; it doesn't fit on most book covers. So
well, listen, I know how to spell it now.
That's true. That's true. If that's right. If you're going to be in that hockey opera,
right.
they couldn't get your name on the shirt.
Next jersey, right? Exactly. Yeah. Well, wait, I love the point before. My name has these weird accent marks. I'm not fancy. That's autocorrect. I typed my name in coming on here, and it gave me this I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. I mean, my name's already weird. It doesn't need more add-ons.
Right. So you say it though. You say it.
Well,
like Swierczynski, right?
That's people. I say, I say my first name sort of stuff like Duane. I'm Duane Swierczynski. A very harsh, So but it's Swierczynski. It's not as bad as it looks. It's bad, but
I think you should start spelling your name this way at all. I think it should be published this way.
Exactly.
This guy, he's from Poland. He's definitely from over there.
I agree. I think it'd be cool. People would start wondering why all of a sudden you have those accents.
That's great grasp of English.
Yes, I mean, I'll tell you the truth. Actually, that is a pen name. My real name is Jack Slater, but I thought that's a cooler name for a writer. I thought Duane Swierczynski. So yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
No, I also. It's funny. I did early on. Before even like a journalist, I was a senior of college. I was a big fan of Spy magazine. Remember Spy, the satirical magazine? I loved it. And I realized that one of the editors there, Jamie Malinowski, was he's from my college. I'm like, oh, so I wrote him a letter. Hey, I'd love to buy you lunch at some point. And here's some advice, just so you should seek out your mentors. And his first piece of advice was, and this is Jamie Malinowski, by the way, very Polish. He's like, change your last name. Pick something else.
I wrote for Spy.
What?
But I was never published in Spy.
Wow.
Because they went out of business before they could publish my piece. However, and here's a moment of solemnity for everyone, for every writer. They sent me a kill fee.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. My God. And to respect a publisher that just went out of business, that's the only time in my life that ever happened.
Wow. Kill fee.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Is that a thing in the past? Does that happen still?
Oh, it must be. It must be. They don't do that anymore.
No. Like good luck.
No. Yeah, right. Right.
Too late.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I do like, I mean, we're talking about age, but I do feel the age of I miss the heyday of magazines. I loved magazines. I was, such a print guy. I mean, that was my thrill. Now they still exist. Not in the same way.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with magazines. They cost $20. Yeah. Insane. Why? I mean, it can't. There's. I always have this conversation. I always talk about this conversation. So Paul Levitz has always said that the price of a comic should be the price of a cup of coffee, right? Like that's always been the case. Sure. And he's not. It's a coffee costs a little more now. It's still problematic, but the I don't know, the bang for the buck seems weirder. But I just feel like the distance from cost of a magazine in the 80s to cost of a magazine today just doesn't. It's way more than inflation.
Yeah, I mean, it's also when I'll see on a grocery store. It's got like, oh wow, a book about Frankenstein, a magazine about Frankenstein. I gotta have this. And like, I realize later it's more than a trade paperback. I'm like, what did I just do? Why did I spend $20 on this thing? You know?
That's
mean,
right. That's
yeah.
right. It's very dissuasive. Same thing with newspapers.
Yeah.
There isn't a newspaper that's worth $2 in today's currency, in my opinion. And I grew up lusting to work for newspapers
Oh yeah.
and reading 5, 6 newspapers every day. You
Yeah.
know, that's just history. That's not. I mean, it's like saying, yeah, Batman's pretty cool, but I really miss those pulp magazines. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, life goes on.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
It does.
and yeah, well, we hope. And and things are going to end. All things must pass.
Right.
And that sucks, but make the new stuff.
Well, I was a friend of mine and I were talking about the loss of the mass market paperback. That's now officially
Yeah.
dead. That's a huge loss. That's,
Absolutely.
Oh,
When I was a kid, I read the James Bond movie tie-in for
Mhm.
Dr. No before the movie came out.
the best. Yeah.
And there's a story there that I won't go into now, but I really enjoyed it. And I went to the bookstore
Mhm.
with which I was familiar. And I said, oh, I'm going to read a James Bond novel. And I'm looking at them, and Signet had just reprinted all of them at 50 cents a piece.
Right.
And I was looking at it going like, no, paperbacks are 35. Fuck this.
Yes. Yes. Meanwhile, 30 years later, you're on eBay spending like $30 on like that 50 cent, whatever. You track down I was a big eBay guy for a while, like buying paperbacks that I missed.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I once accused my father of costing me serious money because
oh no.
when I was like 8 years old, he would only buy me 3 comic books,
Mm.
and there were 4 that I wanted, and I never got that 4th one. I can never find it. I never had that extra dime. Yes, it was a dime, and finally, like 20 years later, maybe longer, I bought it for about $80.
What was it?
Action Comics. It was the Shrinking Superman.
Oh, wow.
And I told my father, I said, if you spent a dime, I would have saved $79. And he said, no, you wouldn't. I said, yes, I would. And, you're an accountant, Dad. Do the math. And he said, no, because it'd be all shattered and torn up, and you wouldn't be able to find it. You wouldn't have it. You'd buy it anyway.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not, listen, we're on this topic. Like, there's plenty of there are some things that I had in younger days that I want to get back, and I can't find them. There's things that they're out of print. I'll tell you, one of them is the Blood of 10 Chiefs anthology.
Oh, what is that?
It was a prose anthology of ElfQuest stories.
Oh wow.
Oh
wow.
And
you can't find it anywhere.
Like Robert Asprin did a story in there, and there were all sci-fi writers and stuff in the and I can barely find it on eBay anywhere. I had 2 volumes of it. There were two of them, and I've talked to the Peonies. I'm like, how do I find them? They're like,
yeah.
Well,
they don't even know how to find them anymore.
Let's get the Peonies on the show, and we'll hold their feet to the fire.
Okay, we can do that too.
That's we got to. Come on.
Yeah. Mike talking about buying 3 comics, not 4, reminds me too. Another factor for me was like, growing up, not very rich. So it's like the scarcity thing you enjoy things more. I would buy a comic. My grandmother would give me $1 a week or something. I'd buy a candy bar and a comic book, and her like outside of her apartment building. And I buy Spidey. I read the living crap out of that Spidey all week. And it's like I would just devour it. And it's like, and yeah, it's great now we have everything at our fingertips, anywhere you can access, blah blah blah. But it's like nothing beats having that one comic. You just wanted one book. I had how many books as a kid? It was
then
like
you fold over because you don't know what you're doing.
Books. Yeah.
Like, how many comics did you fold? Right.
Yeah. It's just incredible.
My parents were frightened at my attraction to comics.
Yeah.
And that was accurate. They should have been, and they were. And like everybody who went into the comic book business in my generation, we went there to spite our parents. But one day, we're taking my sister, who was considerably older than me, off to college.
Mm.
And we stop at this drugstore, and my father says, "Here, go buy a couple of comic books." And he goes off to buy some other stuff, and he meets me at the drugstore. And all I could find was one comic book.
Oh.
And he looks at me and he goes, "One?" I said, I felt like a failure. This is all I was a failure. This is all I could find. I read everything else. I said, well, we were late. So he threw a dime at the drugstore guy, which I thought was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
And I understood. I was 11. I understood why he wanted to do that. He wanted me to shut up in the backseat of the car and read my damn comic book while he would drive. This
Right.
is before air conditioning. That comic book was Fantastic Four #1.
Oh.
And he could not have picked
Wow.
a better book for me to buy because I read it about 18 times.
Yeah.
I read it on the drive back in the dark again.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So
Yeah.
yeah.
There's something to that, you know. I mean, my definition of being rich is being able to afford the books you want to buy, you know. And so if that's
Right.
my definition, I'm rich, you know. I'm a book buyer, so it's great. But as a kid, though, I was like, I really had to plan that purchase. Like, oh God, can I afford $3.95 for this horror novel? I don't know. Do I want to eat this week in school or not? You know, that kind of thing. It's like the idea of scarcity. I look back on it, I was like, yeah, that's how I really focused on, you know, these things that I want to do so badly. It was a great teacher, scarcity. So. Being poor, yay!
All right, so so let's talk though about there we go. Let's talk about this. So, Dead Flowers again comes out next week. I wholeheartly recommend it. It is a gripping read. It's entertaining in the true sense of the word. And I thank you for doing it. Thank you for making it. Thank you for sharing with us. That's always one of the things I like to do because you guys, you know, you don't have to. I mean, you have to probably you're unable to not create, but
no.
But sharing it with the world is a choice that you make. So I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Bob. Thank you.
One of the cool things about this job that we all have here is that we get to read some comics before they're published, you know, so we can help promote them or whatever, or just because we're really good people and they want to give them to us.
Yes.
And so the choice of from 43 billion free comics, mostly done by people I'm either going to be talking with on the air or I know and I've known for 100 years. It's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, it's my life. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Duane, I thank you. Thank you for doing this. And we have to have you back again. I can't wait.
I love that. Thank you. This is a blast. Thank you both.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks, Duane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
We'll talk to you later.
All right. Take it easy. That was great.
That was what a jam-packed show. Thanks everybody for sticking with us tonight. Thanks for watching. We will be back. I have in the midst of this jam-packed show confirmed our guest for next week, and we're going to talk about a Kickstarter because we do that. There's a Kickstarter that's launching next week. So on launch night, the writer will be with us. I need to practice his last name, but it's Anthony is his first name. And I know that his social media handle is Mr. Tony Nacho. So we'll go from there. So we'll get that on. And Super Guy volume something or other is going to be on. We're going to be talking about that next week. The week after that, Dan I think it's Waters. Some people have said Waiters. We got to get that straightened out. There's two T's. He's British. I don't know.
Well, at least he's not French.
Yeah, no.
We'd never know how to pronounce that.
Sure. It'll be fun.
I can't pronounce anything in French.
We We will be here next Tuesday. We'll be here the Tuesday after, and so on and so forth. Thanks everybody for being here. Stay warm out there. Stay safe. Make sure you read more comics because they're good for you. And fuck ice. And Mike, you got something?
Well, those last two words you said, I would like to underscore
Thanks.
a lot. A lot. If there's one thing that you happen to be doing in the next 24 hours, that's it.
Yep. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. See
See
you
you
later.
next week. Thanks for coming.
This has been a production of the Pop Culture Squad Network. PopCultureSquad.com. How do you nerd?